You got a short introduction from Baba. You heard that I'm a feminist. You heard that I'm a lactivist. I also happen to be a mother who is researching breastfeeding, so learning from other women about their experiences. Now, you might want to call it bias. I call it experiential knowledge. If you'd like to argue with experiential knowledge, you better argue with Hilary Rose, because she made an excellent claim for it. So, as you know, as a feminist, I'll be standing on the shoulder of giants. There are many feminists who come before me who've talked about the rights of women, the rights of mothers. But what I will be talking about, because this session is entitled Dynamics of Democracy, is how these two movements and these two kinds of thought bring us closer to the forgotten values of democracy. You see, when we talk about democracy, we kind of come up with these ideals of freedom, equality, and, well, it used to be brotherhood, but please forgive me for not having it this way, solidarity. Freedom, we've been focusing a lot on, we've been focusing on our rights. But we keep on forgetting about the other two, and this is why it's so important to bring in the focus that feminism and lactivism might give you. Okay, by now probably most of you are thinking something along the lines of the Facebook relationship status is complicated. It's not as complicated as you would think. This is the conditions of work for a mother who breastfeeds. I'm not being funny. This is what a mother and baby room looks like. That's in England. That's not in some godforsaken part of the world. We're being sent to the toilets. Now, how does that look for you in terms of equality? How does that look for you in terms of giving the child who's being fed there a fair chance? Would you go and eat in the toilet? I wouldn't. And I wouldn't go to breastfeed my child there. So to me, lactivism is an exercise in female agency, in the struggle for equality of certain resources. It is also a struggle for the public arena and the public spaces being made available to mothers. And as such, I think it is an important movement, although quite often it is being made problematic. Now, obviously, one area where it is problematic is that, oh, you know, it clashes with the market. Because a mother who breastfeeds might, under some regimes, have the right to breastfeed, or at least to express the breast milk at work, and there's a clash in labor laws, and, you know, we're minimizing enterprise profit this way. Great, okay, but the market is an institution that we, as democratic peoples, have created. And we need to think about what does that mean. That means that we as sovereigns have the right to decide what the shape of the market ought to be. We have the right to decide what matters to us. We have to decide that if we value equality, that if we value freedom, and that if we value solidarity, we might just as well want parents and those who give care, and mothers who breastfeed, but also those who look after sick and old relatives, a fair chance. A fair chance to be part of the market, be productive, but also a fair chance to be involved with the ones that they love and they care for. Because caring, mothering, breastfeeding, this is all work. This is work that we provide essentially for free. So maybe, instead of demanding that this work be given over to capitalism and be capitalized on as free and somehow exploited labor, we start thinking about, well, what can we decide the markets do? But still, you know, if you want to think about the market, there's a worth you can put to the work that you do. There is a quantifiable way of talking about breastfeeding as production. Smith and Ingham have published a very influential essay about Australia and Australian politics, and how if we include the value of breast milk production, we might then think about what our policy priorities will be. But I'm not one to fetishize the GDP, so forgive me for saying this to me is not everything. It's important, it's a good way to start conversation, even with those who might disagree with, you know, parents having some sort of claim to be somehow compensated for the effort that they put to bringing their children up. Because to too many people right now, the effort of parenting is some kind of, you know, private enterprise. It's a pastime, a hobby. If you like, children are treated as pets. This is something that you do in your spare time. This is something you do for your own sake. I they have a value beyond market value. They have a value for the market. They have a value for us as societies. But this is beyond the value that they will, once they are adults, contribute. This is beyond the sustaining of, I don't know, social security schemes. This is beyond the taxation that they might contribute. They have a value. They have a value in that they are our future. They're our only stake in that future. And we forget about it. They're not individuals in the way we think about them. You know, we kind of make a claim on it. No, they have a value because of who they are as persons. And because of that, they also depend on us for giving them the rights that we so believe in. So again, equality and solidarity with children, perhaps, is something we should be thinking about. But also equality, solidarity with the parents. Now, if you think about it, what is solidarity? And you'll be very surprised because I'll say, I'll paraphrase something. Solidarity is the determination to commit oneself to the common good, as we are each and every one responsible for all. Now, you'll say, this is nice. Funny, a feminist should be citing Pope John Paul II, isn't it? But sometimes people that maybe I don't always see eye to eye with, they do say things that we should pause and think about. Solidarity used to be something that guided the democratic revolution in this country. Why have we forgotten it? And then the common good. What is common good? Well, the common good is taken care of by the sum of those conditions of social life which allow social groups and their individual members access to their own fulfillment. You know who that comes from? That's the Second Vatican Council. So again, you'd be struck, feminists quoting those guys. They were right. Sometimes Christianity has good ideas, you know. But moreover, you know, we could take it further, because I would say this is still not enough. We need to start thinking about what we have, what is at stake. What is really at stake is that we can have this world, and our children can have this world, and it is not based on the exploitations, on the death, and on the suffering of others. That is, again, equality, and that is justice, that is solidarity. So we have to remember about these things. We need to take care of that which is our common good. And children are the common good, as I told you before. So remembering about those things, bringing those things in focus, is something that we need to remember. Because democracies have the power to change the rules of the game. We have created the game. We shouldn't let the game shape us in so much that we forget what it is that we are about. You are getting an activist speech here, not an academic speech, but believe me, there are sound academic explorations into the subject. And let me just conclude by saying that if what we do has any meaning, we do have to start protecting that which we cherish from the institutions we've created. We need to take back the power that is ours. So if I started by saying lactivism is an exercise in agency, maybe we should go back to thinking about our agency in democracy, about our sovereignty, and about the values that matter to us once. Freedom, equality, and solidarity. Thank you.